Michael Jackson loved his siblings. Like, they got along very well. Very, very well. It's like, that's the one thing that he didn't hate about his childhood, was that he got to bond with, I see one in particular, one girl, younger girl, that he got to bond with. Anyway, he loved, but no, he had a deep affection for his family. He loved his mom and dad for producing his siblings, because he felt that he had other people that understood where he was coming from. But he didn't like that his parents divided them, and that Joe Jackson showed favoritism towards two sons and neglected to show Michael any attention. He feels like his siblings, like, and this is what I'm saying. Michael felt like he was the most talented of his siblings. Therefore, he deserved the most rewards. He deserved the most money amongst all of them. The two boys that Joe Jackson favored over Michael, he felt like they didn't deserve it. He felt like they were spiritually and morally inept, and that their mediocrity could be contagious. We're going to do a fresh shuffle where we're going to now review what were Michael Jackson's relationships like with, people like Berry Gordy and Whitney Houston. What was Michael Jackson's relationship like with Berry Gordy? So it seems that Michael Jackson and Berry Gordy may have collaborated on Berry Gordy and I'm hearing that Berry Gordy and Michael Jackson collaborated on a musical project together. I mean, obviously, Michael's a singer. I don't know who the fuck Berry Gordy is, but whoever Berry Gordy is responsible for catapulting Michael Jackson into the spotlight and helping him to multiply his wealth. He was also responsible for helping Michael Jackson to have a backbone. And he was at some point in time Michael Jackson's mentor in a way, and he helped to align Michael Jackson's chakras, specifically helping him to harness his artistic potential and to tap into those visions that he was having through his dreams. In addition to that, Berry Gordy was responsible for keeping Michael Jackson sane, because Michael Jackson could go into an imaginary dream state sometimes, and Berry Gordy would help Michael Jackson to snap out of it, or at least to turn his ability. Berry Gordy would sometimes get Michael Jackson to stop daydreaming and to start putting that very loose energy into writing music, and that helped to keep him productive. Now I want to know about Diana Ross. They collaborated on music together. I don't see too much of an intimate relationship there in terms of romance, but they were intimate in terms of friendship. I think that Diana Ross, I get this energy from her that she was more motherly towards him, and that she had a sincere appreciation for him for his music and his craft. I see that they worked together, and Diana Ross learned under Michael Jackson how to have stage presence and charisma. Michael Jackson felt that Diana Ross was one of the most talented singers whenever the time period was that these things were going on. Sorry, I'm 28. And so yeah, I mean, I get that. Let me see what else I can pull from Diana Ross. their friendship soured at some point though. Like they stopped being friends, and I'm not sure why. Why did they stop being friends? Diana Ross felt like Michael Jackson had negative intentions. She felt like he started to judge her, and she couldn't tell. She couldn't tell if he was really imbalanced anymore. And there were things that he had said about her that had gotten back to her, and she had an appreciation for him, but she started dealing with him from a distance. And Michael Jackson wasn't a gossip, but it was the fact that Michael Jackson failed to chime in and defend her, and he agreed with the nasty comment that somebody else may have made about her. And it's about Diana Ross being promiscuous. There's something about promiscuity, or anyway. What about Quincy Jones? Michael Jackson didn't have a good relationship with Quincy Jones. He felt like Quincy Jones was hot tempered, bitchy, too sexual, couldn't keep it in his pants. But he felt like he was a good manager. He's like, Quincy Jones is a good manager, but him as a person, he's like, I don't deal with him. He had a very keen disdain for Quincy Jones and he also felt like Quincy Jones was bad luck. He's like, Quincy Jones gets you a lot of money, but it also comes with a lot of consequences as well. And he's like, bad luck sits at this man's feet. And I feel like Quincy Jones was one of the people that Michael Jackson would warn other people about signing deals with. Yeah, like I said, bad luck. He feels like Quincy Jones could turn your career around. Yeah, but it's like it comes at a price. And are you willing to pay it? In addition to that, you got to be real flexible to deal with Quincy Jones, because he's going to he's going to have you doing things that you wouldn't normally do. And I'm not talking about, I'm not speaking cryptically. I'm talking about you may sing songs you don't want to normally sing. You may collaborate with musicians you don't want to collaborate with, things of that nature. He felt like Quincy Jones was and for all intents and purposes, he felt that Quincy Jones was a godfather to many people in the music industry. And he's like, if it weren't for him, a lot of artists wouldn't be who they were. He understands Quincy Jones's importance in helping to build people's careers, but also at the same time, with him showing up as the King of Pentacles, he felt that he was this emotionless. I don't know how to put it. He's like, Quincy Jones is all about financial security. And he's like, he's pretty cold. And once Quincy Jones has secured the bag, you better hope that it's not empty, because, he's not the type of man to make sure that you have something left over. What about Whitney Houston? He felt like Whitney Houston worked really, really hard to have the career that she had. He's like, she built herself from the ground up. And I get that they were distant best friends, that in public they said that they were really, really close with each other, but they didn't really know shit about each other's personal lives like that. But when they saw one another, it was kind of like, you're the best, I'm the best, let's be best friends. They did drugs together too. Yeah, they did drugs together, and I wouldn't be surprised if did Whitney Houston and Michael Jackson sleep together? No, they did business together. But the point is that they did do drugs with one another. So they bonded over that, and they also bonded over being superstar celebrities. But it was more so like, I'm the popular girl, you're the popular guy. I think it's a good look for us to support each other. I don't mind you, you don't mind me. Hit this blunt. And what about Mariah Carey? He felt like his relationship with Mariah Carey was something that he had to just walk away from. He's like, he didn't really understand her fully. Okay. He felt like she was an oddball, but at the same time, he respected her musical abilities, but he didn't want to deal with her. He didn't want to deal with her one-on-one. It's kind of like, in the studio, we can be cool, and I think that you're talented, but outside of this, I don't know, you're too emotional. And it's like Michael Jackson liked to be the center of attention. Michael Jackson, he was entertained by her, yes. By Mariah Carey, yes, but at the same, and Michael Jackson and Mariah Carey also had they had a sexual encounter with each other. Okay. And he was very attracted to her, period, point blank. He felt like she was really fine. He cut things off because it didn't serve him any purpose anymore. Like, they did a song together, and it's like after that, he's like, we can do more music, but I'm not really interested in this relationship. It's kind of like Mariah Carey came on to him to, try it out. And so here it is, Michael Jackson helped Mariah Carey to stay afloat. It's like, it's like Michael Jackson had a career that started before Mariah Carey, and so he felt like he could use his celebrity to legitimate her in the African American community, and that's what he did. That was his opinion of her. But they weren't really compatible as friends or even as lovers, but they were compatible, to do business together. They made really good music together, is how I hear him saying it. So we're now gonna do another fresh shuffle and ask some questions about Michael Jackson making it hard for Jermaine Jackson's career to flourish, and the causes of Michael Jackson's nightmares and sleeping problems. Okay, so did Michael Jackson make it difficult for Jermaine Jackson's career to flourish? Okay, this is Michael Jackson and this is Jermaine. Jermaine Jackson was very, very jealous of Michael. Michael was already decided that he didn't like Jermaine. Like, from birth, he's like, I don't like him. Jermaine liked Michael because he's like, I don't know if Jermaine is older than Michael, I'm guessing, but as the Queen of Wands, I'm saying this as older than the High Priestess, but I'm saying that Jermaine Jackson is, he's like, this is my little brother, my little brother does this, we're trying to get all in this group, XYZ. Michael Jackson never felt like he had to help Jermaine. It's like it's like Jermaine wanted to ride on Michael Jackson's coattails, and Michael's like, hell no, this is not happening. I'm not doing this with you. You never defended me back then. You never helped me out. You never believed me. Sometimes you punched me. You were mean to me, and you want me to forgive you for that? No, you won't even apologize or even acknowledge that this is real. We don't even share the same narrative, and I hate that we share the same. This is sick, but not sick, but it's mean. But he's like, I hate that we even share the same blood. So it's Michael Jackson never felt like he had to help Jermaine Jackson get off his feet. He never felt like he had to help Jermaine Jackson elevate himself. So, yeah, Michael Jackson was very nasty towards Jermaine as he got older. Like, he's like, I'm going to give you a piece of my mind. I got something to say. Jermaine was trying to take Michael Jackson down. It's like Jermaine's saying to himself, yo, you know what? I'm going to get the family to come at you, and I'm going to start saying this, and I'm going to start bringing this up about your life. Did you know about and it's almost like Jermaine Jackson would go to the tabloids to get Michael to gold Michael, and almost like he's like, Jermaine's telling Michael, I'll stop doing this if you will do this for me. Michael Jackson hated that this happened. These were part of his, his relationship with Jermaine Jackson was one in which it was a dysfunctional one. Let's put it that way. And in the dysfunction, Michael Jackson would have these dreams where he would either be getting he would either lose a fight to Jermaine Jackson or he was about to kill Jermaine Jackson. He felt like Michael Jackson just felt like Jermaine didn't deserve it. He's like, you don't, what did you do? What have you done? And to Jermaine Jackson's credit, he had really been working on music and and his lyrics, his dance moves, and he had, a little bit of talent. I don't know, because I don't know. I don't know if Jermaine Jackson really had talent, but Spirit is saying that he did. Y'all might have different opinions. The Hermit card is specifically speaking about, this is talking about, okay, Michael Jackson did energy work to sabotage Jermaine. It's like he went to a spiritual worker and sabotaged Jermaine. And how did he block his career from flourishing though? Yeah, he did. He did block it. It's like Michael Jackson went to the executives of whatever label Jermaine Jackson was on and said, "Hell no, you ain't finna sign him." And he's like, you either revoke this deal or you're not gonna give him a deal. I don't care. This isn't right. This isn't what I like. So yeah, Michael Jackson, flexed his muscles and then showed Jermaine. He's like, I told you I was gonna get you back. I told you this was gonna happen. Michael had been holding on to this for a while, but I don't know exactly how he stopped him from having his career flourish. But please verify in the comments that, was Jermaine Jackson trying to get a record deal? Anyway, so the next question that I have, what were the causes of his nightmares and sleep problems? Abuse in the family and failure, like basically the mom and dad neglecting to act on it to help them. All right, so, and I'm saying that Michael Jackson needed, it's almost like Michael Jackson had recurrent, like he had deja vu. It's like every day it's like a lot of days felt like deja vu for him. He's like, didn't I eat this yesterday? Didn't I meet you today? And his nightmares, it's almost like his nightmares were largely about killing people or being killed. It's like at the most extreme, it's like, I'm seeing my dad, chase me around the house with a knife, and then, he falls on the knife. It's like his dreams were really erratic and crazy, but it was all because he had all this pent up frustration that he wanted to release, and he never really got to. And he refused to even just be passive aggressive or to be outward. This is kind of crazy because I'm thinking about this astrologically, where I'm like, the moon represents the mother. You know what I'm saying? And here it is, the Queen of Swords, and the Strength card is out. I'm getting that his mom, for all intents and purposes, was real sharp with her words. She was, a bitch. I hate to put it that way. And she kept Michael Jackson from expressing himself. It's like, I wouldn't even think of it as like a taming, but I do think very much so that she would tell him, "Hey, you crying? You're gonna be quiet. You don't come to me about those problems. You already heard what your father had to say. You already know what's going on. You know that he's trying to help you out." And another thing that kept Michael Jackson awake at night with these nightmares is that he had a fear of losing all his money. He would literally see himself losing his, everything that he acquired and that he had worked for. He's like, my childhood was made for this, and my family groomed me for this, and for me to lose it all, how could this happen? And that's what he feared. If he had a therapist, he would reveal that to his therapist, that a large part of why he couldn't stay awake, he couldn't stay asleep, was because he felt that he needed to be awake, that he needed to practice his routines, that he needed to continue managing his money. He never felt like he could really experience or live life. And when he did feel comfortable experiencing and living his life, he did so as a child, because that's, as an adult, he's like, I have to make adult decisions. And he had very adult like nightmares. All right. So my next question for Michael Jackson is, why did his weight rise and fall throughout his career? Okay, so the weight rising and falling. The moon card is speaking specifically about, mental health issues, people that can't see through illusions. The page of cups is speaking about emotional immaturity. So here it is with Michael Jackson, his weight rising and falling. We can attribute this to high levels of stress and obviously, it's a form of depression. I was reading that some people had speculated that he had anorexia nervosa, but I am led to believe that that is true, but it's as indicated by these cards. In addition to that, I want to say that his weight largely fluctuated because of his emotions, and depending on what types of drugs he was consuming at the time. So the more drugs he consumed, the better he felt, and the skinnier that he was. And when he was larger, or, not even larger, but when he was, what people would consider regular or normal sized, he was not doing the drugs, and he was having the nightmares, and he couldn't numb himself from the pain. He couldn't sleep at night. Michael Jackson carried very heavy burdens. You know what I'm saying? And these burdens were largely caring for his family and taking care of people in his family. He never got to really take care of himself. And it's always like he was always busy, always working, never able to really have any self-care. Now, there were moments where he was able to share his life with other people, to love on them. But for the most part, he spent his life serving other people. Let's make this clear. And his weight rising and falling was largely due to his inability to just say no, or to establish clear boundaries with people. Now I want to know, why did he leak false information about himself to the tabloids? Michael Jackson, he didn't like the rules of media. He did not like the rules behind media. He's like, y'all do some foul shit. Y'all are two-faced. Y'all double talk. Y'all have a lot of double standards. Y'all don't follow y'all's own rules. And then y'all want to make money off of my name. And the page of pentacles, I call the page of coins, to me represents someone that is immature in how they spend money. Someone that's like an Aries. You can make a lot of money and you can meet your debts, but here it is, you spend money very frivolously. So he's like, if you all are going to play by these rules to misuse my name for profit, I'm going to do it myself. He's like, I'm going to use these same mechanisms to make myself successful. But at the same time, that's at his highest level, that's the strategy. And at his lowest level, at his lowest level, Michael Jackson he loved the popularity. He also would imagine himself, in some of these predicaments. He's like, he imagined himself doing some of the things that he would put out in the tabloids. He's like, I imagine this. If I could make this really happen, it would really be me. It helped to show him his power as a reality creator. And I do see that he did have some mental health problems, and having other people to report on false information and them to believe it helped him to believe it. It's a form of self-torture. Like I get this energy about Michael Jackson, and he was always on a pathway towards self-empowerment and self-development, but then he would do things that would reverse his course of action. And then I see him feeling just very conflicted about doing it all together. It's like it was vindictive. But I get that it was a very him releasing this information was a very creative response to the constant criticism, the constant lying on his name. He's like, I'm going to do this myself and I'm going to do it better than you all. All right. We're going to do a fresh shuffle where we're now going to get into, Michael Jackson's sex abuse allegations, his relationship with Lisa Marie Presley, and, his problems with Sony. Okay, so now I want to know, what was going on why did Michael Jackson have these sex abuse allegations against him? Why? Somebody did work on Michael Jackson. Somebody did energy work on Michael Jackson. And actually, it's not just energy. It wasn't just energy work on him. There were people conspiring to do this. It's like somebody cast a spell, yes, but then there were other people that wanted to use all their resources to have him lambasted in the media because they didn't like him. And whoever this particular individual was, I just see them as a business person whose face is hidden. I can't see it. Can't see the color. Can't see the gender. Basically, these allegations were put out against Michael Jackson to force him out of the industry, and it was also to overwhelm people's public opinions of him. It was like people's public opinions needed to be dramatically changed, and the only way to do it was for them to say that he had been sexually abusing children, which is, and at that time was, one of the most heinous or sinful crimes that you could have committed, or at least be accused of committing. There were multiple people conspiring to help knock him off the block. And it's like there were musicians behind this as well, paying these people. Like the people that make these accusations are financially set up. Okay, they're not hurting. You know something? When I was in college at Emory, allegedly one of the guys that made these allegations went to Emory. I don't know his name, but he was white. I know that. He was a white boy. But anyway, Michael, basically, these allegations, I feel very much like these allegations were planned and people were plotting against him. I don't feel like there was any real grounding to him abusing these children. I feel very much like people conspired against him, and there were musicians working to pay to try to tarnish his career and hoping that this would take him out of the game. At the same time, they were doing these things to interrupt his album releases so that he couldn't make his money, so that he couldn't pay off debts that he was owing to other people. That's largely what I see behind these sexual assault. These sexual assault allegations. All right. I want to know about his marriage with Lisa Marie Presley. His ancestors brought him this relationship. I know Lisa Marie Presley has to be white. I mean, fuel my fire, take me higher, I'll be your light.